What's going on, Assassins? It's Darkstrider, and while we're on the hype train for the remakes and whatnot, I have like a question. Would you play a remake of any of the Chronicles games if they were made into a proper Assassin's Creed game? That would give us three remakes in its own, or it'll give us one massive remake where we're just playing three separate chapters. I don't know. It just may come like that. It may not. As you know, the Chronicles series was a trio of side scrollers. They had China with Xiao Yun, and that's the character that comes for Ezio, not to hurt him, but to obtain some wisdom from him. And then they go to India, and they also go to Russia. So there's three locations right there. Would they do it individually? Would they make individual games? Or do you think that they would just make it a trio itself? Also, would you prefer that it stay as a side scroller, or would you want it to look something like what we've got today, where it's not a side scroller? Some people really, they didn't get into the side scroller like feel of it. They really weren't about it. Me personally, I didn't mind it. When I played the Assassin's Creed DS games, however, I did have that feel like, oh, this is kind of like playing the Chronicles games, like where you're just going side to side. You're not really doing anything else, Now, the difference between a DS game and this is that, of course, in this, you are able to do all the assassin-y things, whereas the DS games, you really weren't able to. They did try to do like a couple of things, like the leaps of faith and everything. It was just kind of convoluted, the controls, however, because it was just difficult on a touch screen, especially if you did not have the original touch screen. The way I did it was through an emulator, and that was kind of rough because you couldn't do certain things. Like there were treasure chests that you could open up, and you had to use the gimmick of blowing into the mic of the DS in order to get it to work. It wouldn't work with a mic on an emulator. So, I couldn't get that stuff done. However, with the side scrollers here, as you can see, we do have some three-dimensional kind of things where you're going towards the background, you're going towards the foreground. So that kept it at least a little bit interesting, as well as the stories. The stories between the three of them were pretty interesting, honestly. I actually enjoyed them. But the question is, do these need a remake? After we get past that, do they need three separate remakes, or can it be one remake with all three on them? I don't know. Like, if you think about it, if we do three separate remakes, it basically is a whole brand new game, And maybe it does need to be a whole brand new game with just a couple of the elements, a couple of the story elements that we had in each Chronicle thing. Because I don't feel like if it's all three separate things or if it's one massive game, I don't think it's going to work out. I think that the problem with the side scrollers is a couple of people did not feel that the characters were fleshed out. We really didn't know much about them. It was basically just, mostly hiding in these games. And there was some like assassinations, So it wasn't gratifying assassinations like when you're playing normal Assassin's Creed games where, you could like hide and then jump out of a hay bale and kill somebody, or you're sitting on a bench and you kill somebody. It's more of like you just killed them and, any which way you can, like a regular fighting scene with swords or whatever. And then that's how you kill them, So I don't know. They would have a lot of work to do on this in order to like really make it work. Like I say, they've really got to flesh out the characters, and they would really have to flesh out basically like a whole new game. So maybe it wouldn't even be a Chronicles game anymore. Maybe it would just be a complete complete new game with these three protagonists, or one of the three protagonists in one game, one in the other, and one in the third. What are your thoughts on this? Would you like to see something like that? Would you see and play a remake of the Chronicles characters, even if it was like 3 different characters in one game and it was just 3 different chapters? Or would you prefer that they have their own separate games completely made over? Plus, have you played the Chronicles games and what did you think of them? Did you play the DS games, Altair's Chronicles, and the other one for the PSP, Bloodlines? Or even Assassin's Creed Discovery, which was a sequel to Part 2, taking place during Part 2, in fact. Did you play that one either? Anyway, that's all there is for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you all in the next one.
Yah-yee! Yah-yee! Yah-yee!